Well, now that I knew my truck was very secure and safe, I was able to mentally release it in here. And I was traveling through Kansas, which was a dead zone for Boost Mobile, I found out. I worked with it. And so I've now changed that service. Anyway, and when I got to the other end of Kansas, family, defender, other defenders were calling me, saying, man, you need to get find out what's going on here. And that's how I found out about it.
So then, what did you call local police?
Well, I did try to call the FBI. It's a particular name, and I cannot recall his name, but it's written
Come this
down.
way for me. Sorry, you're in the background.
Oh. That's fine.
Okay.
And I did try to contact the FBI, and never got a response. Still haven't got a response. And I've got the guy's name in my notes. I have to go get him out and get his name.
So how did they get in touch with you? Did you talk to the local authorities?
The local authorities didn't call me. The FBI didn't call me. And I could have told them. I could have told them how to get in or whatever. I mean, it wasn't. I have nothing to hide.
To me, it seems sort of weird that they wouldn't have tried to get in touch with you.
True. I would have thought that would have happened. Don't get me wrong. We're pro. We have to have government. We have to have a law enforcement. That's not a problem. What we promote is constitutionally based government, constitutionally based law enforcement. That's the difference. And another thing I find is quite strange is, since the Patriot Act was created, which in Sections 200 of the Patriot Act, it basically guts the Bill of Rights and the Declaration of Independence. And basically they can just holler Patriot Act. And when they do that, they can go into whatever they want to go into with no search warrant, describing person, place, and things, and it has to be signed by a local judge. And that's a balancing system that our forefathers set down to protect us from any agency becoming rogue. They have to go through checks and balances. That's the purpose of that. And so I found it, what they did, they basically they violated Article 4 of the Constitution. If they have a problem with the fact that I did not present state ID to the storage people, but that's a violation of Article 5 of the Constitution, mandating that you don't have to supply anything to be used against you in a court of law that is anything that's official. And it's binding you. Also, it's in violation of Article 13 of the Constitution, which says if you don't force review, and if you are forced to provide this information, they're violating your privacy in your person, place, and things. That's a violation of Article 4. They're also mandating you to supply them something, which is a violation of Article 5, and they're also forcing you into a contractual obligation of their jurisdiction, which is a violation of Article 13. It's also a violation of Article 6 of the Constitution that mandates that all laws must be in pursuance thereof, and all judges and legislators must be bound by it.
When you say,
that was a mouthful.
No, it was not, but you're very well versed on reading. I guess I kind of want to know in layman's terms sort of like how it all transpired, how it all unfolded. I read on Kay, you did an interview with her, that there might have been a pure shooter like so many, that there might have been some bullets in it. Like,
Oh
what
yeah,
do you
I
think led to
can't.
that?
There's some ammunition in it, but it's nothing of great proportion. And if it was, it doesn't matter. It's not illegal. But so many times I've heard on the news that they're going around and they'll make a raid on some private person's house and they'll find guns in there. In this case, there was no guns in there. But and I'll make this statement. Well, it might have been a little small. Might have been a small 22 that my daughter shoots. 22 is a little short, rifle about that long. But even if it was, it's still not illegal. But what they'll do on mainstream media, they'll call it illegal because it's not registered. But see, if you buy guns from an individual, there is no registration. Only if you buy from an FFL dealer.
Do you think the response that day was justified?
Of course not. They profiled a particular mandate that's set by Eric Holder and Janet McConnell and the general outlook toward the American people. They declared war on the American people, what they've done by declaring war on the Constitution and the Christian identity.
Do you think you fit particularly a profile that some see as dangerous?
Mandated by the government? Yes. They went right down the line profiling what Eric Holder has announced they're going to profile, and also Janet Napolitano.
Do you think if you were a banker or a school teacher or anything like that, and this was your rig parked here, do you think it would have been the same event that it was for you?
I'd say probably not. Another thing that they profiled was the identical church that I belong to. It's called the Yahweh's Army. And the statement that was made, as it was quoted to me, now I'm not positive of this. I want to make that clear. They could have stated it differently. But this is what got fed back to me. They called it Army of God. Well, it's not called Army of God. It's called Yahweh's Army, which means God's Army, which means we're an army of evangelists teaching the word to the people. It has nothing to do with jihad in Afghanistan or none of those things. But see, that they put that, the fact that I have a constitutionalist-based website, and we're political in our nature in terms of bringing the word to the people, to try to protect the people, and that's our main mission, to protect their inalienable rights. Put that together, and you fit Eric Holder's statements about who he is, and also Jennifer Montano's statements.
First of all, let's talk about ours a little bit, because I know you mentioned you actually got a verbal apology from them.
Verbal on the phone. Well, they just said that they were very sorry about having to realize that there was no truth whatsoever, and that they did not like it. First, they made an initial reaction, and then after that point, they regretted doing it.
Well, and seeing today, obviously, they regretted it. The rig's still here.
The rig's still here, yeah. I paid. And I also was given access numbers. I have 2 sets of codes of access number, which I can show you right in my billfold. In fact, we just came in here with those access numbers, proving that we did have a contract with them and an agreement. And I haven't got my money back, so I'm utilizing the time.
What do you want? Obviously, since you're from here, folks know you.
Yeah, a lot of people know me in this town.
Was it embarrassing to you to go through that?
No, didn't embarrass me a bit. In fact, if it helps bring out the truth, I'll consider it a positive event. I just regret the expense that took place to the American people in terms of paying for all that hoopla, all that much to do about nothing. But, you know, like I said, the general constitutionalists, the Christian identity is being profiled in this country as being the enemy. And we're not the enemy. And what is and another statement that I heard was made was that, in fact, this statement was made, and I know this is correct because it was put on the news media. I think it was possibly your station that broadcast. If it was Channel, no, it was not Channel 3, it was Channel 9. But anyway, it was broadcast from the FBI. They called in and made a statement that this individual has an alternative religion, an alternative politics. Now, I ask you the question, what is alternative about being a Christian? And what is alternative about following the Constitution? That is the supreme law of the land. And they should be obeying it based on their oath.
Anything else you want to know about you in reference to this event? Anything else you want light shed on in terms of what happened that day?
Well, you've been very thorough about the questions you've asked, and we've covered a lot of ground. I would like to be able to mention where they can go and find out more information, if that would be permitted. It's called the actual organization is called.
Got an ant on you. You don't want to bite you.
The actual
Start over.
The actual organization is called the Order of Constitution Defenders. The website is constitutiondefender.com, or it's called constitutiondefenders.com. Or you can type in the Order of constitutiondefenders.com. Either way will get you that.
What did you do before you were a defender?
I was a engineering designer. Well, my first job as a young man was a rock and roll musician and a photographer for the Chattanooga Times Free Press and journalism. Then I went from there into engineering by the time I was 27, right here in Chattanooga. And actually, I lived in Ringo. I was in Ringo, Georgia. I was there 20 years also, lived there. But I worked in engineering design for 32 years. I've got patents filed with the U.S. government. I had absolute top clearance with all nuclear power plants for many years. And I worked in a nuclear facility. I was in nuclear power plants with top clearance and no problem. And what I've done is I've gotten older. I've gotten concerned about the political nature of how our country is swinging. And so I've gotten far more politically activated because I wasn't so when I was younger. And I'm trying to make up for that.
Do you think being, I know how you're going to answer this, but I'm asking you, do you think being politically active as a civilian is a crime?
Of course not. It is a duty of each American citizen. Now, a lot of us as American citizens, we abuse that, but we should not. The biggest problem I'm having is the ignorance of the American people in terms of knowing their constitutional rights. You got to understand, the mainstream media mixes up what is a right versus a privilege. For instance, they talk about civil rights. Well, civil rights are not rights. There's only one type of rights which is mandated underneath the Constitution, under the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, all men are created equal, that they're endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Now, what's important for people to understand and know is that unalienable means, in Black's Law Dictionary, 6th edition, non-changeable, non-transferable, cannot be given up except by the person who possesses it. Now, when you agree and sign documents like your driver's license, or if you take goods and services rendered, in other words, you go into contract by accepting goods and services rendered, it's defined under Black's Law Dictionary as being an applied or adhesion contract. Once you do that, you give up your inalienable rights. Now you're under civil rights.
You don't read ever, do you?
Oh, constantly.
All right.
Makes sense?
Anything I haven't covered?
I think you've answered all the questions.
Yeah, I know. I've got a whole lot of tape to go through, too. I do want to, if you don't have anything else, I want to get some B-roll of you and I.
Yeah, I was just going to get some video of you guys just kind of...
This isn't necessarily for audio, but just for us to
Oh,
walk
okay.
around. Now, my husband's a truck driver.
Oh,
He's a truck driver, a fleet manager at U.S. Express.
What's up with the gun?
My father-in-law is a truck driver, so I know
Oh,
about trucks.
okay. One other thing I need to get in on this. I need to mention the people we're supporting politically that are constitutionalists. They're based. Their whole campaign will be knowing the Constitution and going to promote it once they get in office.
Okay.
Can I do that, or is it too
I
late?
think I can add that in my little bit about your mission.
Okay. Well,
All right.
it's Ben Arian
Okay.
and Joe Kirkpatrick. Joe Kirkpatrick's running for Tennessee. Ben Arian's running for senator.
I don't know what that means. Put in their names.
Oh.
You know what I mean? The part of kind of allowing.
I got you. Okay, what you can do, though, is mention that we support several political candidates on our website that are constitutionally based,
Yep.
and then we need to vote for them. You could
I could do that.
You could do something like
General
that.
about it.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you need? Put us from the front. I know you got
Yeah,
some
just,
back side.
if you want, just do the same thing
Okay.
and just walk this
Walk
way.
this
And you
way.
can talk about how the sky's blue. I don't care. I just need some video of you guys walking.
One of the things that I like to today was to think about, forgive me, I'm going to paraphrase, but it was something along the lines of, you said, I put my truck here to protect it.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't happen.
And secure it, yeah. It's just
Walk
the
this
opposite
way
of
with
that.
me. Tell me that again.
Yeah, in other words, it was to secure and protect it. Now, and I left her thinking it was secure, and it turned out it was exactly the opposite. It was attacked. So I put it inside the fence so I could rest easy, so I could, not have to worry about it being stolen.
Right.
And I noticed something you did not ask me. That I figured you would hammer me on this right to travel versus permission to travel issue, because you know that I don't use permission to travel.
Yeah, I did not.
Oh, you did not know that? This is the only thing I carry, and I don't even show this to any public servant. Now, the first question that comes out of my mouth, and he's taping for not audio, but the first question that comes out of my mouth when a policeman pulls me on the side of the road is, "Officer," and I always look at their name tag, "Officer so-and-so, if I was to have this contractual, statutory, illegal instrument, could you use it against me? Yes or no?" Exactly. These exact words. You got it. Then they said, "Well, you can use this." And then I repeated it a second time to it. And then they say, "Well, I guess I could. I guess it could be used against you." You're right, sir. It could. Because what you're doing, you're binding me into a jurisdictional relationship with the entity that you represent. And I must ask you, sir, is that entity incorporated, yes or no?
Did they feel threatened at that moment?
It goes on a lot longer than that. I mean, they asked me, I said, sir, they'll say, well, statute so-and-so, code such and such, regulation such and such says you got to have a driver's license. I said, well, sir, you have not. Now, did you swear an oath to the Constitution, so help me God, yes or no? Well, yes, I did. You said, so help me God, did you not, sir? Okay, well, so what we're talking about is you serve the Constitution. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Which master do you serve? Do you serve the corporation that you work for, or do you serve the Constitution based on the oath that you said? And, sir, you need to go read Article 6, Paragraph 2, Paragraph 3, that all laws must be in pursuance thereof, and all judges and legislators must be bound by it. They cannot make a law contradictory to the Constitution. It's null and void. Mabba versus Madison, Norton versus Shelby, and Emma Juris.
So I would imagine that you would admit then that you're a handful for a lot of local
They
laws.
usually say, sir, be on your way. I've got arrested before, too, now. Sometimes you'll get a belligerent guy. Now, if I get a hold of an older policeman, he knows a little bit about what's going on, and he knows a little bit about the Constitution. He said, I've had them do this, they'll sit back. I think you're right. Have a nice day, sir. Can I have one of your pamphlets? And I'll hand him a pamphlet. And I have my insignia right next to it, and I have my pamphlets I hand to him and everything.
Do you feel like, I know we talked about you being kind of profiled, but do you feel like, do local law enforcement know you by name? Do they know you as
Some
somebody?
do. I have constables in Houston that know me. We've had 1-hour conversations on the side of the road. And in the end result of it all, I had one policeman, a constable, said, you win. Have a nice day. Most of the time, they let me go because they don't want to deal with me in court. They don't want this issue to go any further than that, and it's a Supreme Court issue. So therefore, I had a DA. Now, I got arrested. I had a DA that dropped it because he said, we have a weak case. You know, it's a weak case. And it wasn't. In fact, it was no case at all. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land, as I've just quoted to you in Article 6, Paragraph 2, Paragraph 3. Also, what the general populace need to understand is, and you including, to protect your inalienable rights, is that you're sovereign. You're vested in supreme authority. You're the queen. And we're all kings and
Can you
queens.
tell my husband that?
I got it on tape.
There you go. There you go.
You see, you're a queen under the Declaration of Independence, because what our forefathers had the wisdom to do was to turn everything around about what our societies migrated to, which was a monarchy or an oligarchy. An oligarchy is a multi-headed dictatorship. A monarchy is a single entity dictatorship, which is called a king or a queen. And we're prone to head that direction based on our emotional needs and how we perceive information around us. So we migrate as a society in that direction. But that is the fallacy. So our forefathers had the wisdom to set down in the Declaration of Independence that when they said we hold this truth to be self-evident, all men are created equal, that they're endowed by the Creator. And what they meant by men being created equal is not that we're all the same height, we all have the same physical attributes and capabilities as each other, but we're equal in the eyes of God. That's what that was about. So what they were saying, we were endowed by the Creator. We were not endowed by man. We were endowed by the Creator. Get the difference? Now, if man did not give us, man cannot take us away. Now, can you see the difference? Now, since we were endowed by the Creator, we created what's called the Constitution. The Constitution defined and created government. Government created corporations. The corporations are down here. They're the last on the totem pole. We are the creators of the Constitution and government. They are the created. Now, how can the created tell the creators what to do? Unless we deprive someone of life, liberty, or the pursuit of happiness. Now, if we do that, we've now subjugated our constitutional position. We are now subjugated to the authority of the corporation based on consent.
I'm not even going to get you started on some other things.
I hope I didn't bore you.